giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Hit. Good morning, good people. Welcome to the Monday edition of A to Z Sports Live, the Skywalker Morning Show. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Coming up today, we have part 3 of our Rated Draft series, and we are talking about a fan favorite, Cooper Beebe. Listen, man, if you love football, you love the way this guy plays. Before that, we'll hit the roundup. Duke Manyweather got a chance already to get his hands on these young bucks, no drizzy, from the draft. So we will talk a little bit about that in the roundup prior to jumping into the ratings part of the show. Easy one for you. Fun one for you. One, like I said, all the time. One of my favorite parts of the offseason is after the draft and getting a chance to dive more into the Cowboys draft picks, because when you have 200 or so prospects, and I'm not one that looks at all 200, it's a bit overwhelming. I get excited about diving into the 7 or so draft picks that the Cowboys have and getting to know them behind the helmet, and then checking out the film even more in-depthly. You know, when you look at them when they're not Cowboy players, it does change when they are Cowboys players. That's just the facts of the matter. Okay, so good show lined up for y'all. Let's go ahead and get this thing started here in a second. But shouts out to y'all real quick, man. Bomb Squad.
Bomb Squad!
Hey, listen. I'm not on Twitter with this whole Kendrick Lamar Drake thing, but I know what's going on. You know, look, I've been chilling, just kicking back, listening, and enjoying this. Really, it's just entertainment. Between what's more entertaining, real quick, before we get into it, what's more entertaining, the actual art and the music, are y'all crazy asses on the internet? I don't know which one, because y'all people are exposing themselves on this here internet over this Drake and Kendrick beef, man. So I'm just chilling. I'm just watching y'all go nuts over this. No Drizzy. And enjoying life, you know? Enjoying life. Tony said ain't no different than WWE. Let me tell you this. I'm enjoying WWE more than I'm enjoying any of this quote-unquote beef. But I do think it's interesting to see them two go back and forth. One is burying the other, in my opinion. And then to see fans just go crazy, you know? Like, dog, it's music. And some people are capping for, you know, each individual as if they're family members or something. I mean, relax. It's crazy, man. Anyway, let's get back to football. Let's go talk about the Cowboys, and let's see who Duke Manyweather was over there working with.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. I tell you one thing. Ain't no beef across the street from the Star. Unless you're talking about offensive line beef, then that's a different story. No Drizzy. After the draft, the very first thing Cowboy fans were saying, hey, man, when Tyler Guyton get with, you know, Duke Manyweather, and it's happening. It's happening right away. We wanted to see him work on the things he knew he needed to work on. And I love that Guyton knows exactly what he needed to work on. And he's not shy about it. So he's over there, or I don't know if he is at this moment, but he's been over there with Duke Manyweather and he's been working on certain things. And here's a video that came out over the weekend that got a lot of attention, and it should, rightfully so, right? One of the knocks coming out on Guyton was the inconsistency in his striking and his technique, right? And Duke's got him right here working on that knee bend and strike combination, because sometimes he's at 6'8", 6'7", 6'8", get a bit tall. His knees don't always bend, but he has good athleticism and knee bend. Just, again, inconsistent with it. The same thing with his hands and his striking ability. So it's really great to see him over there working with Duke. And what you don't hear, I don't have the audio up, but Duke is giving him number instructions: 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, and he's just got him working on it. And Guyton in the draft presser flat out came out and said, "Hey man, it's just about repetition for me. I know I have to get better at this, and it's about going into the lab and doing it until it's second nature to me." So I'm excited to see how this work translates for Tyler Guyton, because it was never about the ability. He has all the ability. A little bit raw, and it may take some time. But if he's working with Duke, maybe we can curb that learning curve. You know, maybe we can shorten it a little bit. I don't know. Duke is he an O-line whisperer, but not everybody, that he goes sees there, it turns into an all-pro. But this is a guy with a lot of talent, a first-round pick. So if he can get with Duke and obviously continue to work on things on his own, and when he gets with the Cowboys, I'm hoping that the learning curve is shorter as opposed to longer, right? But either way, I do think the future of Tyler Guyton is bright. The present is kind of where it gets murky with a lot of fans. So I'm still not putting no high expectations on Guyton to be some Pro Bowler year one or anything like that. We want to see improvement with him. He's not going to be Tyler Smith, okay? I'm sorry. He ain't going to be that either. Tyron Smith. He's not going to be an all-pro in year one. I completely understand that. We just want to see him continue to get better week in, week out, and by year's end, you have confidence that left side is either not necessarily locked down, but Dak's not having to look over his shoulder all the time. Because we've seen, yes, he can work with offensive lines that are put in front of him that aren't good, but we've seen a difference when he doesn't got to worry about that left side at all. And eventually we want Tyler to get to that point. Could take some time, but we're willing to wait. Another guy out there with Tyler Guyton was one Cooper Beebe. And that's what we're going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Beebe was out there getting some work with Duke Manyweather, which is awesome, but he's been getting work with Duke. So, and we'll get into this as we start to rate Cooper Beebe, but he knew that teams are going to be looking at you potentially at center too. So he's been getting work with Duke, Duke is a center at heart. That's what he played, but he helps tackles, guards, and centers. But it's great to know that he knew this was coming and went to the guy that could help him immediately. So that's why last week when we talked about Cooper Beebe in this transition, I was like, hey, he's already a smart guy and he's already prepared for this. So I feel fine about the transition. But as you'll see here later, I'm not going to be naive to said transition. So with that said, let's go ahead and get this thing started with getting to know Cooper Beebe a little bit more. Our third round draft pick, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, Dallas Cowboy. This is Jerry Jones.
How's it going, Jerry?
Well, I'm talking to a Dallas Cowboy.
Let's go.
With the 73rd overall pick, the Cowboys select guard Cooper Beebe. Let's remember here, that 73rd overall pick was a pick obtained by trading for Tyler Guyton in round 1. Does that add a little bit more sizzle to the selection? Maybe a little bit, especially when you think about the fact that you get a guy with 48 career starts, very experienced. At the time, he was a top interior offensive lineman on the board. 6'3", 322 out of Kansas State. He's a guy that blocked for former Dallas Cowboy draft pick, who's currently still on the team, Deuce Vaughn. And I know a lot of people are, they put two and two together. Hey, we got Cooper Beebe and we got Deuce, so now Deuce is going to go back to Kansas State. Not so fast, my friend. We're not going to go that far just quite yet. We have to see how the Cowboys, if they figure out how to even freaking use Deuce Vaughn. Let's get to know BB a little bit more. In high school, he was one of those guys who played multiple sports. A whole lot of these athletes are like that, especially the top tier ones. He played offensive line and defensive line, by the way, in high school. Lettered in basketball and track. And here's the most interesting nugget, and you can see it in his game. He finished third in powerlifting. Back in 2019, he took up powerlifting and was one of the better ones in the state. And when you watch Cooper Beebe, you say, oh, okay. I get it, I see why you're so strong and stout. You're goddamn powerlifting. Back at Kansas State, again, we talked about those 48 starts. Very versatile guy in high school that followed him to K-State. 26 starts at left guard, 13 at left tackle, 9 at right tackle. What you don't see there is center, but I'll play the video again. We played it last week. He was prepping to play center, though, throughout the year. A former teammate of Cooper Beebe talked about how during practice he would take plenty of snaps at the position. This is what Beebe had to say about his play style. He would say, quote, I'm a pretty nasty guy. I'm a dude that tries to dirt people anytime I can, but I'm also a dude that focuses on technique. I have that kind of mindset that I want to dirt dudes anytime I can, so it's that kind of nasty play style. And Will McClay, when he went up to the podium after the selection, he said, hey, man, Cooper likes to dirt people. That's what I read. I'm glad he's doing it for us. With his ability and to play the guard position, he's played all over there, and he's also snapped. So that ability and that demeanor, bringing that to the team, was something we wanted to do. And I was just thinking, for those who were here 2022 draft, I dubbed that draft the attitude era, right? Well, a lot of these guys haven't lived up to that. Some of them aren't here. Some of them have, right? You're talking about Jake Ferguson and Deron Bland and Tyler Smith. And it's Tyler Smith we called Mark Henry. Or did we? No, we called Mozzie Mark Henry, didn't we? But it was Tyler Smith. And I was thinking about this the other day. We needed to add somebody that matched that energy. And boy, does Cooper Beebe. He matches that energy of Tyler Smith on that line. And if you got him at center, you're talking about an interior of the offensive line that could be solidified for a long, long, long time. So let's get into the first part here of our rating and draft series. For those who are new, I'll continue to reiterate here. 3 parts. We rate them 1 through 5. You obviously can help or can join in the chat as well. Value. For me, 5 stars. Now, when it comes to the value, you got to look at it in a multitude of ways. Dallas had already missed out on the top 3 centers. And leading up to that pick, it was still a position of need. And that's why I have their top-ranked interior offensive lineman meets need in round 3. Just so happens that top-ranked offensive lineman, non-center, I think he was a top-ranked interior offensive lineman that wasn't a center on most people's boards. Right? Like, let's remove Jackson Powers Johnson. You remove Zach Frazier. You remove Barton, who transitioned into center, but remove those guys. Those guys are pure centers. Just interior offensive linemen. BB was regarded as 1 or 2 at guard. You had some people like Dan Brugler who would rank Jordan Morgan and Troy Fatts as guards, and that would knock BB down to 2. But those guys are going to play tackle. Most people had BB rated very high. In fact, most people didn't believe he'd even be there by this pick. So the Cowboys grab a need in the third round, and he's likely going to be a starter. I don't see how it's not 5 stars for value. Hell, I'm trying to think back to the last time the Cowboys got a third round pick. Look, I know it's early, but I anticipate him starting as a starter, as a day one starter without injuries. I think he's going to beat out Brock Hoffman. That's a good question. Wasn't Jalen Tolbert. Osa? I don't even know if did Osa start right away, barring injury? Might have got in there injury. So for me, I've got the value at 5, Cowboys Nation. What say you? And that's the other thing. I looked over and Marv said, center and guard flex, technically, if it doesn't work out at center, he still can kick over at guard the next year. So, I mean, this is tremendous value. Year one starter, in my opinion, with high-end talent at a position of need in the third round, pick 73. I mean, you can't really get much better than this unless you just take a pure center at 7. One of the top centers, I should say, right? Like JPJ fell to you, Barton fell to you, Frazier fell to you at 73. And that the likelihood of that happening was slim to none. 5 stars are, so not 5 stars. 5 stars is drafting Lamb at 17. I mean, it's kind of equivalent. I'm not saying this dude is CD Lamb, but he might end up being one of the best centers. But you got him in the third. I mean, 17, pick 73 for a guy who is widely considered the number 1 guard. I don't think it's far off. We got trolls in the chat. Shouts out to y'all. Appreciate you running these numbers up, trolls. 4 stars, 4, 4.5, 4. We're basically 4 or 5 stars here. Yeah. It's about right. 10 stars, says Eshawn. Well, hold that thought. Let's move on to the year one impact for Cooper Beebe. And this is where we're getting into a little bit of the film. And I actually got some other film too. I want to show you the difference between him and who the guy he'll be replacing. So year one impact. Cooper Beebe, for me, 4 stars. Now look, he's all but likely going to be moving to center, and that's why I have him as cerebral assassin at center. This is a smart guy, really smart guy, but he's an assassin. So, well, why didn't you go 5 in this guy? Well, because he is moving to a position he did not play in college on the game, on the field. So I am taking into account that there may be some getting used to, right? He has to figure it out, and then I think he'll be fine. But it's not enough of a concern to knock my confidence. That's why I'm giving him 4. I'm still extremely confident that he's going to be a high-impact rookie. Is an all-pro, Pro Bowl. I'm not saying all that, but he's going to be a high-impact rookie for you right away. When you look at what BB brings to the table, the very first thing that pops up in my mind is power and nastiness. He's going to bring power back to the position in all aspects. He's a thumper when he pulls, and you guys know how I feel about that. I didn't think 71 Edoga brought his pads behind him, and Tyler Guyton's a guy that has to figure that out too. You don't got to worry about that with Cooper Beebe. He's going to thump you if he sees you out there in space. And then he has the ability to get to the second level with just enough agility, right? Just enough athleticism. I'm not going to confuse him for Tyler Linderbaum from an athletic standpoint, but he knows how to get to where he needs to get to. And something that I've been wanting more from our center in previous years was getting to that second level and having the ability to wall guys off and move them and create lanes. Last year, that was a huge problem. And we'll go take a look at that here in a second. Bodies will hit the floor with Cooper Beebe. We call him a road grader, people mover, whatever you want to call him. He said it best I have a nasty play style. I want to make guys quit. That's what he said, not me. And I truly do believe Beebe is going to have guys thinking differently at that second level. I don't think anybody was necessarily worried about thumping the Cowboys center last year. You're going to have to think about that with Cooper Beebe. In fact, let's take a look real quick in the film room at week 9 against Philly, where Tyler Biadasz, almost said Smith, obviously was still the center for the Cowboys. And the reason why I bring up this film is because the Cowboys are going to be going against these type of guys throughout the season, especially the Eagles. They've beefed up their defensive line. And the very first thing you notice when you watch this game for Tyler Biadasz is when he's one-on-one, by the way, if for those who don't know, this is Tyler Biadasz right here. When he's one-on-one, he struggles with adequate power. And this is beyond adequate power, but, and this is a tough assignment. I totally get it. But the knockback that happens with Tyler Biadasz was far too frequent, in my opinion, when it was 1v1 like this. I mean, you don't have the ability to step up into the pocket. And look where the line is for everybody else here, right? Like Tyler Smith is just a grown-ass man. They're running a game a little bit here, but Biadasz is already knocked back into Dak's lap. He cannot step up. Dak has to scramble on this play. Again, 1v1, this time versus, I think this is Milton Williams. Now, Dak gets the ball out quicker here, but you can see the dying slow is not a problem. But he's already in the lap of Dak, and if Dak had to hold that rock, you can forget about it. Once again, 1 versus 1, it's just tough against these better defensive tackles. And the Eagles were always trying to get that on Tyler Biadasz. Now, where Tyler Biadasz is good, he's a really good help guy. 100%. He knows how to scan and help, whether it be Tyler Smith or Zach Martin. But when it's one-on-one, when it's dealing with power right over top of him, that's something he struggles with, and that's just been the case for his whole career. But he's been able to mitigate that and be a serviceable and solid and good center. Had a Pro Bowl year, but I wouldn't call him a power dude. Cooper Beebe, you won't have to worry about that. Another thing you won't have to worry about is Cooper Beebe getting to the second level and thumping guys. Biadasz just struggled getting to the second level here, and this play right here in general is actually Biadasz has to get here, seal this off, and you want Zach to get up here and seal this off. Zach actually overruns this play, and Biadasz is trying to beeline there, but he just can't get there. And because he can't get there, Cunningham has an easy path to the runner and knocks him out. Now, I'm not saying that this would have been a home run play, but because obviously Zach Martin overshot his guy. But if these two wall off these defenders, I mean, we're talking about a little bit extra here, You're talking about one-on-one with Reed Blankenship. Same thing here. This time, Tyler Biadasz is actually going to get a body on a body. But watch what happens. I'm going to let it play. Then I'm going to run it back, and I'm going to tell you why, to me, this play stood out. Good play, right? You say, man, what a great game. Good job, Tyler. Well, this is the difference between Tyler Biadasz and Cooper Beebe. Right here. Everything is blocked off, right? Boom. Blocked off. Blocked off. Got you sealed. A seal here. A seal there. Down the alley. The problem, he doesn't thump. You know who gets thumped? Tyler Biadasz. And because of that, we have to now this small little thing right there. Instead of a free runway, we've got to just stop our momentum just for a quick second, and it allows Reed Blankenship to make the tackle. Now, I'm not saying this would have been a home run play, but I think it might have had a better shot. Let's take a look at it from the other angle. Once again, boom. If everything is just blocked up the way it needs to be blocked up here. We got it blocked up here. We got it blocked up here. Down the alley. Problem is, I want you guys to keep your eyes on Tyler Biadasz from this angle. Oh, boy. Yeah. Now, we've seen the plays for Cooper Beebe and what he does to these linebackers, right? We've seen him knock guys out here. Look where Tyler Biadasz is at. I'm just saying, if this gets blocked up correctly and Tony Pollard doesn't have to just slow his momentum down for a quick second, I don't know. There's nothing but daylight, space, and opportunity to make something happen. Instead, he has to slow up, allows Reed Blankenship to make the play. So those are some of the differences that I think you see with a Tyler Biadasz and a Cooper Beebe, or you will see between a Tyler Biadasz and a Cooper Beebe from center. Again, man, this isn't a poo-poo on Tyler Biadasz stream. What this is just showing you the differences between a guy who is strong and stout and physical at the point of attack and more of a fighter in Biadasz. Biadasz is a fighter. I'm not going to diminish his time here. But I don't think Biadasz was a people mover. I don't think Biadasz was a game changer per se. Well, Sky plays center. I'm just saying, you look around the league, there's some centers that, because you have those guys, for instance, Kelce. Jason Kelce was a game changer for the Eagles. Travis Frederick was a game changer for the Cowboys. Creed Humphrey's a game changer for the Chiefs. Frank Ragnow, Tyler Linderbaum. These guys, you can do things with them that you just can't do with Biadasz. Now, was he playing hurt? Possible. I don't know. But he 100% wasn't a guy to me at the time throughout his career in Dallas that was a people mover. This dude right here is a people mover. And that's why I think year one, he's going to be impactful. And not just because he's physically more imposing, but because he's also smart. He's a cerebral assassin. Shouts out to Triple H. He 100% is a cerebral assassin. He is a smart guy. And when asked about, hey, well, can he play center? This is what his teammate said.
See, he's going to probably play center there.
Yeah.
But he's not played center.
Yeah, so.
But you think he's going to have that unlocked?
Yeah, so him, like in what we do is we really pride ourselves on being real versatile. And for him, like obviously he's played left tackle, left guard, right tackle. He hasn't had any live game center reps, but he's had a lot of practice reps at center. He knew that really coming back this last year that teams were kind of looking at him at he could play guard, but they're mainly like, want to know if he can snap and stuff. So he knew that he was going to have to like prepare to be a center. So, I mean, all last year, like, he's taking extra reps at center. Like if we finish up our script and then, we're getting some extra reps before practice ends, he may go in and he'll tell Gil, hey, Gil, like, you want to play some guard and I can play center. So, like, we were all switching different positions. Like,
yeah. So the fact that Biadasz is practicing that, to me, like I told you guys last week, I feel a little bit better about him getting it sooner rather than later. Not Biadasz, I'm sorry, Cooper Beebe. But dude's a smart guy, played all those positions at Kansas State. I don't think this is going to be a problem. Shouts out to you, Nick. I just saw your super chat. It does pertain to what we're talking about here.
Super chat.
Nick said, will the lack of DT slow his development? Iron sharpens iron. Can Cooper, I'm guessing what you're saying, can Cooper sharpen iron? So those are two different things. Will our lack of DT slow his development? So while if you have a DeMarcus Ware to Tyron Smith situation, that helps. Micah Parsons is going to be that guy for Tyler Guyton, right? Obviously, that helps. If you don't, I don't think that's going to slow your development. Not at all. He's still a talented guy. He's still a hard worker. He's working with Duke Manyweather. He's going to be working, obviously, with his offensive line coach and Mike Solari. I don't think that's going to slow down his development. Cooper Beebe is a grown-ass man already. We don't need peanut butter Cooper Beebe. So I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he'll be challenged. they'll move DeMarcus Lawrence inside. They'll do some games. He'll see some things he may have not seen in college. But I don't expect him to be something he'll be overwhelmed with. He'll have rookie moments. He'll get beat. We're going to see him get thumped. We're going to see him get beat from time to time. But I have confidence that Cooper Beebe is not going to be consistently living in the backfield. I feel like he's going to give Dak Prescott that ability to step up. And some of these highlights here, you can see him being able to pass guys along. If you go watch the Texas game, you'll see him deal with two of the top defensive tackles in the country. One, an uber power guy, and T'Vondre Sweat. And he was able to hold the line of scrimmage against T'Vondre Sweat. And another guy, a 3-tech, and Byron Murphy. Now, I will say this. It will be interesting to see how he deals with the more high-end 3-tech guys in the league. I was having this conversation with Vach prior to the selection of Cooper Beebe. One of the things that I want to see him do in the NFL is deal with those high-end 3-tech guys because they're super quick, right? Super athletic. I wouldn't consider Beebe this high-end athlete, but he has the know-how. His feet are good. His technique is great. So he can beat you with his mind and his body. But you're going to run it. There's no more Aaron Donalds. But you'll run into these smaller Kalijah Kancey types who are just super quick. And from time to time, I've seen him have a little trouble with that. But at center, it'll be a little bit different. He'll be dealing with more one-techs probably. And at times you have some shades where they're 2-eye and you are dealing with the threes. But I do want to see Beebe. Honestly, you asked about the defensive tackles not challenging him. I think Osa would be a great challenge because that's the one thing I want to see him handle in the NFL, dealing with those more quicker guys, the speed rushers, as opposed to like the Mozzie's. I know he can deal with that. No problem. Dude's a power lifter. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, year one impact, Cowboys Nation, I gave it 4 stars. What say you? What say you? Who is strong enough to line up on Tyler Biadasz? Let's read some of these chats here. John Ridgeway versus Cooper Beebe would have been that would have been a camp fight, Jay. 100%. Ridgeway came in saying, I want to break people's necks. Beebe came in saying, I want to dirt people and make them quit. Yeah, they've been fighting. For sure. Still them boys, appreciate you. Come on, man.
Super chat.
Drop 5 and says, start a list for all the guys, BB Dirts, and call it, ooh. Call it BB's kids. Come on, man. Hey. I might have to get a Bebe's kids drop, bro. I might have to get a Bebe's kids drop. 4.5, 4. 4 from Sheila, 5. Somebody said they act like Mozzie's the worst in the NFL. We don't know what Mozzie is yet, man. But yeah, if you're writing off Mozzie, I'd caution that. If he get his weight back on, Mozzie's work ethic ain't never been the issue, right? That ain't never been an issue. Mozzie's work ethic. Let's see if he's used right. If he's used right, I think Mozzie will be okay here. But is it enough though? That's my problem. I don't know if it'll be enough. 4, 6 stars says Cowboys politics as usual. So we talking about, you think it's going to be a home run. Yeah, Ridgeway and BB would have been epic, man. 100%. BB might help Mozzie. I think what you'll see is Mike Zimmer help him the most for sure. I'm gonna have to keep that in the clip, Smoke One. The BB's kids is crazy. Let's hit the horns real quick before we get to our last one, and let's talk to Joe Sandberg. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Scott. The thing with like getting Cooper Beebe, dude, this is like a 12 out of 10 rating.
Yeah, man. I mean, the value is already crazy, you know.
But the thing that makes it crazier, you traded down to get your left tackle, plus you get your center.
Yeah, absolutely right, Joe.
And you also have a person who's you don't have to worry about his base at all, which is something completely different from Tyler Biotish.
Yeah, you do not have to worry about his anger and his base. No doubt about it. He's going to, I think, more often than not, give Dak the ability to step up, unless there's some games and we have trouble with games. But just from a sheer one-on-one, I remember Travis Frederick in his rookie year. He had some trouble with that with Don Terry Poe, right? And then after that, he was extremely reliable in regards to that. So maybe we'll see Beebe here and there have some issues, but I don't see it being a problem long term.
Well, yeah, right. And plus, the majority of this upcoming schedule, I think Beebe is actually going to be an important part of this offense, along with course, like specifically with people that you be dealing with, and also 6 games a year. She's going to be very important as well.
What's that second part?
Oh, as far as like 6 games a year.
Oh, 6 games a year. Oh, so you're talking about the division games.
Correct, because the best part of like Washington's and other defensive front is their interior.
Yeah, think about it. Dexter Lawrence, Jalen Carter, Davis, Deron Payne. Who's the other cat over there in Washington? That one's out, Alabama.
Newton.
Oh shoot, yeah, they got Newton too. Jonathan Allen. Yeah, man. So you needed to shore that up. And I found it interesting. If we go back a couple years ago, Cowboys were on the clock and Tyler Linderbaum is sitting there. And you have Tyler Smith as so many Tylers. Tyler Smith as the selection. And they asked McClay, hey McClay, why pass on center, right? Number 1 rated center. You got a center that's going into the last year of his deal. He said, man, I looked at what the NFC East is doing, what Philly just did. They're getting the size, getting this mass inside. We needed to get bigger on the inside. And he didn't favor the small center. So he passed, and now we see that Tyler Smith, 6'5", 330 plus, is on the inside. And what happens 2 years later? They go and they get a center who goes 6'3", 322, and is a road grader. So he can deal with those types on the inside in his division. So McClay told us 2 years ago exactly what he was looking for at the center spot, and he was going to wait for it.
And you know what? And that's why you should not. That's why you need to keep certain values with certain players, specifically like with the interior, exterior.
Sure.
As far as like tackles, yeah, you gotta hold true to what you value.
Sure. I agree, Joe. That's all you got for the show?
That's all I got.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Yo, I love Joe's comment. Sky. Cooper Beebe. He can play center. Oh, that's it, Joe? Hey, man, shouts out to Mark Holmes in the building. I was scrolling through the chat. Notice Mark Holmes is in the building. Boss Cowboy Sports in the building. Shouts out to 2 of the best in the game covering our Cowboys. Mark Holmes, 100. It's crazy, man. Years ago, I remember the first Cowboys YouTube that cracked 100K really wasn't. Shouts out to Tom and them. But it didn't feel like, I don't know how to explain it. It felt different. I'm going to just say this. When Law of Mark hit 100K, it felt a bit different than when a company type hits 100K. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So shouts out to you, Mark Holmes, and Law Nation, the first to hit 100K in our community. First of many, I think. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Let's get back into the rating series and talk about one Cooper Beebe. And this time, we are going to talk about the long-term outlook. So I gave y'all 5 stars on the year one, or 4 stars on the year one impact, 5 on the value. And this is what I'm going with the long-term outlook. If you guys can't tell, I am extremely high on Cooper Beebe. Franchise center potential. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but we don't even have to go outside of the Cowboys organization to understand how important it is to have a franchise type at center. We should know firsthand with Travis Frederick. You could argue this offensive line has not been the same since Travis Frederick. And I feel like casuals, and I don't say that to be disrespectful to casual fans because you can't possibly know everything about every team that in-depthly. But what you'll often hear is, oh, well, Cowboys have had this amazing offensive line for 10 years. Watch, hit your button. False. Didn't happen. Not true. It's fiction. Never happened. Didn't occur. That was 10 years ago. So you often hear that and you're like, so y'all live it? Do y'all think we have Tyron Smith in his prime and Doug Free and Travis Frederick and Zach and Ronald Leary? Is that what y'all think? Because that's not the case. Ever since Travis left, this offensive line has been kind of trying to find its way, I think, in the middle. Aside from, obviously, Zach. And to Biadish's credit, he did what he could do, right? But if he is just another Biadish, he won't get extended. And I don't believe that will be the case. I believe there is value of a franchise center. Go look around the league. These guys do get extended. These guys get the bag. They stay on their teams for a long time. I think there is that potential in one Cooper Beebe. Okay, let's say it doesn't happen at center, although I think it will. But damn it, it's going to happen at right guard. That's for sure. So one way or the other, I think Cooper Beebe has long-term stay. And it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, who the coordinator is, what the scheme is. I think this dude is just going to be a dude. But sticking to center, I think he's going to provide us that anchor, that consistency, and that stability in the middle of the offensive line next to Tyler Smith for a long time. And if it's one thing that we should know about the Dallas Cowboys and paying specific players, they will pay this offensive line. You know, throughout the years, they paid the big three. They paid Tyron, they paid Zach, and they paid Travis Frederick prior to the whole situation with the retirement. The next group for the Cowboys, and it's so interesting how it worked out. Do I still have this? It's so interesting how this worked out. The next group, the next Tyron, Travis, Zach, to me is probably Guyton, Tyler, and Cooper Beebe. So Tyron, Travis, Frederick, right? All drafted within 3 drafts. 4 drafts. Tyler, Guyton, and Beebe all drafted within 3 drafts. There is a blueprint to the Cowboys taking care of. Now, granted, Beebe's not a first-round pick. Tyler and Tyler are. It doesn't matter, though, because if he performs at a high level, I think he'll be here. So I got 5 stars for Cooper Beebe when it comes to his staying power, his long-term outlook. Cowboys Nation, what say you? Creed Humphrey went from guard to center, and that worked out. Yeah, it is not impossible. Andre Garrard did it for the Cowboys. He was a guard, moved to center, and was a Pro Bowl center for years. So, you know, if this was a kid who we heard off the field, or on the field, I should say, or in the locker room, in the film room, didn't get it, wasn't smart, just totally relied on physical tools, maybe I'd feel a bit down about that. But that's not the case with Cooper Beebe at all. He's a cerebral assassin. TJ Bass, yeah, man. This is what I love about addressing the interior in this way. It allows you to have Hoffman and Bass potentially both as quality backups. And with Bass, in my opinion, he has starting potential. So, you know, continue to get Bass bigger and stronger. Another year, you know, in the league, and by next year, maybe he's the one taking over for Zach Martin. Now your offensive line looks like Guyton, Smith, Beebe, Bass, Steele. And that next crop, right, that next 3 to 5 years, your line is taken care of. And I saw somebody say this, and Vash even talked about it when we were talking about Detroit. When you do that, when your line is taken care of, taking a back high, making a trade for a high impact back, going with the splash draft picks or signings in regards to wide receiver or running back becomes a lot easier to do. When you have your foundation built, it becomes a lot easier to add on top of that. Yeah. BB's kid. Nick dropped another 2. I'm with you, bro.
Super chat.
BB's kids is genius. Make the hey, Nick. I'm just saying. Who was it that said that? God dang, I gotta go back. Whoever said that, I want to give you credit right now, because we finna see it. I'm pretty sure. Shouts out to Lemitra.
Super chat.
Let's just get to the super chats while we're here right now. Let's just get to the super chats. There we go, Lemitra. I got you. She dropped 2 and said, will Awesome compete for a position this year? I don't think so. Unless the position is swing tackle. Maybe then. I think the position could be swing tackle, sure. I heard Nick. Not Nick. Is it Nick Wright? No, not Nick Wright. That's Nick Harris for the Cowboys. He mentioned this when he came, and we'll talk about Nathan Thomas later. I do want to talk about Nate Thomas, and I may do a rating series a bit different with him and the rest of the day 3 7th round picks. But I heard him mention he thinks that he'll have tackle staying power, although Nate believed he'll do some guard things. I personally would love to see him slide inside the guard and challenge for the heir to Zach Martin. I would love to see that. But if it doesn't happen, then I think Nate Thomas could be competing with Awesome Richards as well. Yes, you can consider Matt Waletzko in there. I don't really believe Matt Waletzko has sticking around power. I don't. I think he has too much competition and he won't beat those guys out. But Awesome, if he doesn't have a lot of competition, then Awesome could come away with this swing. One thing I don't want to see, if something does, God forbid, happen to Tyler Smith, Cowboys Nation, I do not want to see Chuma Edoga at left tackle. If we see Chuma Edoga at left tackle, something wrong with Awesome Richards. I already told y'all I got my eye on the situation in general, because if Awesome Richards showed the Cowboys enough to say, okay, we got something here, why would you even re-sign Chuma? There's just no need to do that. Use that vet minimum money and go get another guy at a different position, wide receiver, running back, whatever. There's just no need to. Take your 5th round pick that you said you had a higher grade on, and you put him in there. But maybe they looked at it like, we're not comfortable with Awesome just yet, so we'll bring back a guy that we had trust in last year. But I promise you, if they roll out Chuma, barring some type of injury on that left side, all my confidence will be shot then from Awesome Richards. So I'm hoping he has a good camp. I'm hoping he beats out Chuma Edoga, and he's the guy if something were to happen, they move to left tackle. I never wanted them to put him at guard. I thought that he had left tackle ability. He just needed to get stronger. He's a little light in the butt, so I don't know why they put him at guard, but that's what they decided to do. Towboat Tie drop 5.
Super chat.
Appreciate you, Towboat Tie. Can't build a house without a solid foundation. Facts. Take care of the O-line first, then the pieces will fall into place. Congrats on the kiddos, guy. Thank you, Towboat. I 100% agree. The offensive line to me is substance. It's substance. You can't bake a cake without the actual cake part. Or you just eating a bunch of sugar and icing, right? And the sugar and icing is, we got this amazing wide receiver we drafted in round 1. All right, give me offensive lineman round 2. Nope. We got the running back. This is great. But we're rolling out
backups at offensive line. We can't block for your quarterback. We can't open up lanes for those amazing wide receivers and running backs. And now we're blaming the wide receiver and the running back. So the Cowboys adding substance to this cake. Now when you want to spread the icing on it, good to go. So Johnny Jackson says Solari can't teach run blocking. I know we're down on Solari. Sorry, Solari, but what? I'm just curious. What do you know something we don't know? When people say stuff like that, like how do you know that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know Solari can't teach run block? Where you go look at his career, Solari has put together a ton of great running schemes or running productions. Right now in Dallas, at least last year, was not the case, which is why I think he is on the hot seat. But if you missed the show, I kind of went in depth on why I think we should maybe reel it back real quick on Solari and let's see what happens with this new crop. Because I think he's starting to get the guys he likes, and that's power guys. I don't know if he necessarily had the juice to do that last year, just getting in the building. You go look at the guys that he inherited in Waletzko and Balls and they brought in a Chuma. They drafted Awesome. Again, I don't know if he had the power. These are all guys at 308, 305, 302, light dudes. Now look at the guys he got in here. Beebe 320 plus, Thomas 330 plus, Guyton 320 plus. And you look at his history, he's always had bigger, stronger offensive lines. And the last time he had one of the best run games in the league in lines was when he was with the San Francisco 49ers, and they were huge up front. So I'm willing to reel it back a little bit on Solari and see if maybe these people movers fit, and I think they do, fit better with this gap and power scheme that they were trying to run. Is it my favorite scheme? I ain't gonna lie to you. No, I like the movement scheme. I'm more of a zone guy. But maybe they look at it as we don't got those guys. And they understood the assignment and said, okay, since our coordinator doesn't want to run that, we don't have those dudes, and the running backs no longer in the Rico's still here. But the running backs we got now fit more power. Maybe it will all come together. So I'm just trying to give a little bit of context to last year. Because on the other side of this, right? Tyler Smith was an all-pro under Mike Solari. TJ Bass got half of y'all wanting him to start under Mike Solari. TJ Bass, 320 plus. Tyler Smith, 330 plus. Those guys fit Solari, and they play well. Chuma, not so much. Go watch the you ain't even I can pull up deuces. Go watch the Giants game, man. Week 1. I know it's week 1, but this doesn't change no matter what the week is for Chuma. Watch Chuma when he pulls. Watch Chuma get to the second level. There's no movement. Ain't no thump. Dexter was, these guys they brought in, they bigger, they stronger, they more powerful. So let's see if Solari can work with that. Is all I'm saying. Ass matters, says Joe. Towboat dropped another 5.
Super chat.
Better have a great O-line with some push if they plan on running Zeke up the middle 25 times a game. I'm pretty sure that ain't the plan. It better not be the plan. But I'm pretty sure. But you feel what I'm saying? I think it was Johnny who said that. I just want to see if these guys will fit Mike Solari a little bit better before I run the old man out of town. In the meantime, in between time, hit that like button real quick if you're enjoying today's show as we are breaking down our guy, Cooper Beebe, in today's Rating the Draft series. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over where I'm at with Cooper Beebe in regards to our rating series. And if you missed a chance to vote on 1 through 5, feel free to do it. Just put which rating you're doing, and we can have this conversation. So let's jump back into it real quick and just kind of give you a brief overview of where I stand on Cooper Beebe and why I'm extremely high on the kid. So when you look at his year one impact, I've got Cooper Beebe value. I've got Cooper Beebe at 5 stars. He was a top-ranked interior offensive lineman. He met a need in round 3. You got a year 1 starter in round 3. I asked this question earlier. Who was the last third-round pick that came in and was a flat-out starter for the Cowboys in year 1? I mean, let's go do it real quick. I mean, we're not really doing nothing else. Let's just go do it. So, boys. I would say Osa, but I'm trying to. Osa got it, I think, because of injury. So, third round pick last year, Demo didn't play. Jalen, no. Tolbert, year before that. Osa, Chauncey, and Nashawn. I'm still going to say no on Osa. Osa he eventually was a starter because of injuries, and he kept it. Good for him, but he wasn't looked at as a guy that was coming in to start right now. Neville Gallimore, nope. He did start, but again, injuries. Connor McGovern, nope. Michael Gallup, nope. Jordan Lewis might have been the last one, and he might fall in that same category as Osa. I think when injuries struck, Jay Lou just took advantage of it. In fact, I don't even think it was injuries. I think that was a year we had the cat from Nolan Carroll, and he was awful, and they cut Nolan Carroll, and then Jordan Lewis stepped up. Malik Collins, maybe right there. 2015, Chaz Green. 2014, didn't have a pick. Terrence Williams. So I would throw T. Will. I think Malik. I think T. Will might have started in 2013. That might have been the last one for real. Like, T. Will might have been the last one. No injuries, no nothing. Flat out starter. Come on, man. You're getting a starter in round 3. That's like right now. That's not normal, man. That's not normal. So I gave that a 4. Rookie impact, I gave it a 5. Rookie impact, I gave this a 4 because he is moving to a position he didn't play in college. So I'll give him some grace that may take some time, but it ain't knocked my confidence enough. I kept that thing at 4. Y'all still having this Zeke fight? Yeah, so I'm going up here. Yeah, so Terrence Williams, I think was the last round 3 starter, like out the gate type situation. It's a long time, bro. It's a long time. And then finally, long-term outlook. I'm extremely high on what Cooper Beebe can be as a franchise center, and I gave that a 5. I could probably tell you right now, you will likely not see a higher total rating the rest of this way. Probably won't. That's how much I think Cooper Beebe, or how good I think Cooper Beebe can be for the Cowboys. I saw Toxic Tom earlier say, it's going to be a Kool-Aid fest. Don't do that, Toxic. You know damn well we don't even drink Kool-Aid on here. We just keep it a buck. And to keep it a buck, I don't know how you can watch Cooper Beebe and come away and be like, nah, I don't think he's going to be a good player. Now, obviously, he got to go out there and prove it. But he playing next to Tyler Smith, and in year 1 next to Zach. Yeah, Cooper going to be dirting people, man. Cooper going to be dirting people. Yeah, the run scheme is an issue, Tony, which is why you needed to get dudes. That was why I was very emphatic about getting dudes. He says they don't have a run scheme to give any running backs that many carries because they don't want to pass 50 times. So y'all must be having a conversation amongst yourselves. I don't think they're going to give one particular back all these carries. They're finally acknowledging running back by committee verbally, right? McCarthy has done that before, which is shocking as to why it didn't happen last year. But if I if I had to guess, I think a little politics, y'all. Just based off the history, obviously, of this organization, but at that position specifically, Ezekiel Elliott gets the bag, Tony Pollard gets drafted. They refuse to use Tony Pollard in tandem with Zeke until they had no choice. They was looking like, hey, man, Zeke's not the same. So by year 3, let's get this electric guy involved a little bit more, and it helped Zeke. But injuries were piling up, right? Then the final year, Zeke, TP was obviously the better back, but they worked in tandem greatly. It still didn't matter because Zeke got banged up by the end of the year, and he was a non-factor in the playoffs. But throughout the season, it worked. The next year, Tony Pollard, $10 million. They didn't even use him like Zeke. I mean, they used him like Zeke in the sense of running him up the middle, but they didn't give him 20, 25 touches a game like Zeke was early in his career. But they refused, for whatever reason, to involve Rico Dowdle a little bit more. And I just have to believe politics played in that. Have you ever heard Will McClay come out and say running back by committee prior to this year? Have you ever heard Stephen Jones bring that up? Stephen brought it up. Stephen ain't said that before. Because they get in them rooms saying, hey, man, we paying Zeke 19. Hey, we tagged Tony. Yeah. Well, they ain't paying these running backs jack shit. So there shouldn't be politics played in this room unless there's, as my guy Marv says, favoritism, because we love 21. Well, he's 15 now. I don't know, man. I'm just going to go here and blindly believe that won't be the case. I do think they understand the importance of using Zeke in a committee approach and utilizing each skill set of the guys that you will be carrying on the 46-man roster. Mike's done it before. I feel like if it was 100% up to Mike McCarthy, he would have been trying to do more of this. Like I said, I felt like they had no choice because you couldn't leave Tony on the bench after he was showing you what he was showing you. You couldn't do it. Now, they don't have that one particular guy, and they got to use a multitude of dudes. And I'm all for that. I'm even more for bringing in more competition to this room. Let's not play politics. That's all, man. Johnny says, you like zone blocking better than power blocking? I do too. I'm more of a fan of zone schemes. I do think you have to have a particular runner for that. And I do think you have to be a little bit more innovative and creative now than back in the day. Like Mike Shanahan's zone scheme, run scheme has taken over, but they've remixed it tenfold. But don't get it twisted. You can absolutely dominate as a power team if you got the dudes and you got the right guys. I do think it takes a little bit more ability. I don't think you can hide guys as well in a more power scheme than you can in zone. That's why you see Miami Dolphins offensive line and their number one rush team. You see, I don't want to use Philly. Philly has a good line. You see San Fran year in, year out. They don't have 5 Pro Bowlers across the line, but they're always up there because their scheme. Where, in my opinion, gap schemes and power schemes rely on having dudes like Cooper Beebe. And the Cowboys are starting to put together, I think a healthy Terrence. Too many damn days. A healthy Terrence, Cooper Beebe, Zach Martin, Tyler Smith, and an athletic Tyler Guyton. Guyton's he's 322. He's going to get stronger and learn how to use his mass. But he's not a people mover just yet, but he's got the size. I do think you see what they're trying to build on the ground. They're trying to build power. And I'm here for that, man. I'm here for that. Who the hell is 6'2", 242 and can fly? I'll check this guy out for next year. All right, let's go refresh this one more time. Make sure I didn't miss any of your supers as we were breaking this whole thing down. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with me this morning. Just getting your Cowboys morning started. A whole lot more Cowboys content will be dropped later on today. So boom, boom, boom. Michael Nilsson dropped 2.
Super chat.
Said Sky, the Great Wall, everyone was huge. This is true. But this was also a totally different era. This is why we need to win. Michael Nelson, I'm sorry. And I get it. We have a rich history. It's so easy to look back at when we were at the top of the mountain and compare it to then. I just think the league is completely different now. But you're right. They were huge. And when I speak on the rich history, I love when I listen to Brian Broaddus talk about his draft stories, right? This is a B Bird. I don't know if you went here, but I don't know if you'll like this or not, but this is interesting. So Brian always says, when you're advocating for a player, you know Jerry Jones is not watching film. It's just not happening. But he has a huge say. So he's going to listen to you. So for you to sell that player, you have to compare him to a former Cowboy. I don't think that's a great process, but it's easier for Jerry Jones to digest. Hey, Jerry, this Cooper Beebe, man, what about him? Man, he can. Well, who does he remind you? Nate Newton. Oh yeah, sign me up, right? He doesn't need to hear anything else. Let's use our guy Slim. Hey, Austin Richards. Who does he remind? Eric Williams. Oh, sign me up. Doesn't remind me of Eric Williams. Not even close. You know, so you have to the fact that you got a guy who is the titled general manager, not saying he is a general manager, and you have to compare him to a dude from 1993 or 1986 to get him to, understand. Boy, not how I would do it, but I love when Brian sheds light on that because that's what you're dealing with in the rooms. It is ancient. I mean, it's not a rich recent history, Colin. It's a rich ancient history, but it still is rich, and we should be proud of it. But I don't ever want it to blind us. Yeah, it's definitely stuck in the 90s, bro. Let me see here. We had a lot come through. I'm gonna make sure I miss them. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, Finn. Shouts out to you, Finn Ballard. Dropped 2 earlier and said, best rookie camp battles. I got you. We will be talking about that. If you're new here, you don't know about all of our segments, and that's fine. I love reintroducing my segments. And one of my favorite segments, another one in the offseason when this thing gets started, is You Just Made the List. We will have our rookie minicamp watch list, and we will be talking about some of those battles probably Thursday or Friday. We got slow roll this thing, man. We here 5 days a week. Can't give it all to you today, but I got you, bro. Nick talked about the DTs. Got that there. All right, we are caught up on Super Chats. Appreciate y'all. Toxic Tom, you think Racy McMath is going to be the new TJ Vasher? Tony says, true successor to Travis Frederick could be Beebe. Haven't been the same since he retired. 100%, And that's why I personally think he has franchise center potential. Period. I understand he hasn't played center, but you see the qualities. And for those who missed our film session earlier, I don't want y'all reporting back to Tyler Biadish's family and be like, hey, Skywalker's still shitting on you. I'm just showing you the difference between what Cooper Beebe can bring and what the Cowboys had at the position. You won't see these knockbacks. You'll see Beebe get to that second level and knock dudes down. You'll see bodies hitting the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Yeah, you'll see that. So that's all I'm saying. Man, you are cynical. So you think Ford is the new TJ Bat? That is no. Be real real quick on Brevin Spanford and look into the room. You don't see a path for that man to make the team? Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Even with the hype of TJ Vasher, there really wasn't a path for that man to make the team unless something happened to the guys in front of him. Or they valued his 6'6" frame and said, we're just going to throw it up to you. And we know that's not all they value. You got to play special teams. You got to be able to do everything else. Stop. Come on, Toxic. I mean, you are living up to your name, but geez Louise. Appreciate you, Gregory. Cooper Beebe, the Big Show. George the Animal still kind of what he looked like to me. Brevin had a lot of drops last year, 100%. But contested catches, man, he might be your best contested outside of Ferg, obviously, right? But he got some contested catches on him. Now listen, man, I still got that film. I'll pull it up. We can talk more Brevin Spanford all day. I think this kid has a path to make this team barring any type of injury. 100%. Blocking aside, like we know he can do that. I'm just talking about as a tight end, a pure tight end, catching the rock, getting downfield after the catch, athletic ability. On top of being able to play special teams and be in line or split out, he has a path, man. That's just real. That's just real. All right, we think he's 30-year-old blocking 18-year-olds. Cool. That's what I said. Screw the blocking. Screw the blocking. Go watch his ability to be a size weapon, 6'6", 6'7". And he's probably, look, I think Ferg is one of the best in the league after the catch. Brevin Spanford was moving after the catch. He can move after the catch. I'm not saying he like Ferg, though. I'm just saying. But I love it. Please count that man out. I think he's going to prove some of y'all wrong. With that said, we're going to wrap this thing up. Ooh, Juggernaut's a good one. I like that one. Cooper Beebe being Juggernaut. On the way out, please hit the like button if you enjoyed today's show and share this with your other Cowboys friends and family. Again, I know a lot of people watch the mainstream. I'm not telling you not to, but I promise you, you'll get something different in substance when you tune into the morning show, man. That's all I'm saying. And we just start the day off. That's all. A whole lot more content coming to you later today, so make sure y'all look out for that as well. With that said, one more refresh. I think we good to go, though, Cowboys Nation. Soon, see, I almost dipped. And just saw T. Gordon Marshall, who's been a member for 27 months. Shouts out to you, TG. He said, I'm the Juggernaut. That's a good one. He might have to be Juggernaut. Oh, Story Jackson was Marv's guy. That was Marv's guy. I had to tell Marv, like, Marv, relax, man. Relax. All right, I'm going to hit this button and get up out of here before I be fighting with y'all all day.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
Rico actually made the team, though. Rico actually made the team. Look, every year there's a hype guy, but don't do that to Brevin Spanford, though, man. Leave your negative ass energy elsewhere. You putting all this bad juju on everybody else. Go enjoy the day, Toxic. Jeez Louise. We out of here. Love y'all. Peace.
Squad.